My name's Absalom Aswani. I'm an artist. My art is basically drawing. I do painting, drawing, sculpture. But currently I decided to work on dry media. I've focused my art on dry media, and I use pastels. I use oil pastels, I use soft pastels, chalks and pencils and colored pencils to do my work.
My name is Anne Mwiti. I am an artist as well as an art teacher at Kenyatta University, as well as teaching young children developing art within various spaces. I paint and I draw, and I also use mixed media. I use acrylics on canvas, I use oils on canvas as well as mixed media.
Kwa majina naitwa Dickson Asiago Masita. Mimi ni mchoraji. Nilianza uchoraji tangu utotoni hadi sasa. But sasa nimeingilia kwa professional.
Hello, my name is Labdi Omes. I'm a musician and a painter. I play the orutu, which is a traditional instrument from the Luo community. My painting is mainly based on impressionism and abstract styles.
I would say that I'm an artist, a visual artist, and I create artworks in 2D and 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional artworks. So my work will range from sculpture to painting. I'm also an animator, so I'm also a digital artist. I create film in animation. So I'll gauge from surreal to realistic and a bit of abstract expressionism.
I began as an artist 2-3 years ago. I began fully doing fine art in Kenyatta University. I started doing artworks using graphite, but with time I found the need of introducing color into my works. So of recent I've been using oil pastels.
My name is Naftal Mageto Momanyi. I am a sculptor. I started when I was very young. I'm a self-taught artist, and I've done this for the last 36 years as a professional artist.
My name's Moenga Mageto. I'm a video artist, and through video artist there's animation included, motion graphics and design. My style of art is, let me say, conscious art that can make people ask questions about the environment, mainly targeted to Africans.
I am a visual artist, focusing mainly in motion graphics and 3D, but also practicing other arts, drawings, music.
I deal with abstracts and landscapes, but recently I've been doing graffiti also. So I do a bit of graffiti and I do a bit of abstracts and landscapes. Different themes. There is Kenyan rural landscapes. There is utopia kind of landscapes where I imagine a different Kenya, a different Kibera, a different Kawangware in a utopia type of life.
My name's Wamboi Kagai, and I am a photographer, and I specialize in documentary photography and street life photography. I'm photophobia, but I love taking pictures.
So, welcome to Kibera Graffiti Center. My name is Steve Chenze. I'm an artist in this, what we call the Community Social Hall. I do all types of art except fashion designing. I do painting, I do fine art, and we have an art project here called the Nyota Art Gallery, where we try to give the community art skills, most probably the kids from the age of 6 years to 16.
Alikuwa ananipenda sana na kunifanyia kazi. Sasa nimemwachiwa bibi na huyo mtoto wake. Sasa niashindwa ni serikali gani ya...
It was a sad picture. Really, I kind of see a very, very sad picture here. You're thinking of, you are sleeping, you have plans for the next day, tomorrow, of what you're going to do with your family, and then all of a sudden somebody walks in and cuts your life short without any process of the law, trying to go find out this is the reason why you are being killed. I mean, I think you better follow the procedure first, let it get to the judge, and then let it be judged according to what is there. If they're really police people, then I can say it's hard. And nobody should come to feel that kind of pain. I mean, I'm thinking if he was a promising, if there's something about him, then at least we should have known what could have happened, or the reason at least behind why, than just killing like that and then people disappear. I mean, there's a value to life, you know. You don't get to live your life twice. You only live it once, and that's it. Yeah.
In all the videos, what you notice is there are all these people handling other people. For me, that handling is what I'm looking for. I'm looking out for, like, how do I represent that? Because it's injustice. But yes, that injustice is done by people. They take people from their families, like some of them you can see they're taking them right from their beds, yeah. And they handle them, they carry them, the whole process. In our minds we know these things happened. But in the minds of the perpetrators, they also know. So they have the info. So it's reminding them, whatever you did, it will never disappear. It's evidence that you did it. And so long as you know, then it is never, never lost. You'll be found out one day.
I'm sad, I'm angry. Once I'm angry. I'm very angry at the police. At one moment I was sad, I almost teared up in fact. Especially the one for the woman, the guy who had made his house and the car, that got to me. So wanaua tu watu hivi, watu tu wana hustle.
This story actually reveals the police, how they are very much involved, arresting someone in front of other people, and they see that someone has been taken by police, but at the end he is not in the police custody and he is not found nowhere. Actually, the videos have created a lot of impact in me, that I would like to create a piece of art that illustrates the story exactly, so that it can play like a barretta, okay, as a symbolic language for the public to understand what it is.
It's not a movie, it's not fiction, and it's happening right here in Kenya, as in where we are, it's happening, and it's real. Personally, I think I was unaware to the extent of which it has been happening, but clearly so much has been happening out there. So much has been happening. People just need to know about it. People need to know about this.
I think it's quite disturbing. It's quite a mysterious disappearance of a child. Huh? I think as a parent, someone will feel very, very disturbed. They would like to find their child. I think that find that one very, very disturbing. There is no proper. We don't even hear of investigation. I mean the people just disappearing like that is really not. For me, it's shocking. It's shocking. It's quite disturbing.
It's more saddening. It's horrific. Families are just left separated. Loved ones are left on their own. This should not be happening. For now, I'll just let this sink in at the moment. I'll just let it sink in first, yeah. Because it's overwhelming.
I have nothing to say. It's so overwhelming how ignorant I was. I wish my society wange realize this doesn't make our society any better. Inaongezea pain, and we are losing a generation.
I see a lot of useless killings, you know, very unnecessary, very unnecessary deaths. Be it somebody who was targeted or just an innocent bystander. But the thing is, there's too many wars. There's too many wars happening right now, too many. Even though it's not exposed, you know, because I see like our country is called a peaceful country, but there's a lot of underground, you know, things that are happening, underground killings that are happening. It's sad to see. It's sad to see, and it's sad that it's not spoken about very often, because the people you expect who are there to protect you are the people who are carrying out, you know, this very, very same killing. So it's a scary world we live in, and we have to tread really carefully, really, really carefully.
It's very sad, to be honest, because sababu these things seem to be happening on a daily occurrence. You know, you can be just sitting in your house with your family, and then one day you're here, the next day you're gone. And for me, I think there's a lot of content, from what I've seen, that will be able to portray what is happening in reality.
Ni sad juu kenye inafanyika si kenye inafaa ifanyike, na kulingana na venye hata hizo incidents zinaonekana hapa, the surrounding people wanakaa kuishi na uoga. So ni video ingine catching sana juu ni tense, hata ukiangalia sio kitu ya kufurahisha, unaweza chekea.
It's horrible. My God, I don't think there's something that was said in the video that was it that the guy wasn't a rich man, so his legacy would have just lived within the bound or the confinements of his village. I don't think it's even about legacy. I think anyone's legacy just lives within themselves, and if you can't respect that, just the basic existence of a human being, then there's a problem with the society, because clearly no one knows the reason as to why he was killed by the policemen. And these are people who are supposed to take care of the people in the community. So if there was no reason, and there shouldn't be reason for anyone to just be killed like that. Yeah, and I don't know whether this will stop, because clearly there was motive for those guys to kill him. They had to make sure that he was dead, and the methods for doing that were just crude. It saddens me. It would sadden anyone who's sane. So yeah, if there's something we could do to change this, let's do it.
Kapogu Timothy Winja urojoa Ngozago no beda beda Damana tamo pesa Kapogu Timothy yeah.
Don't pull too much.
They say a picture says 1,000 words. If you take a good picture at the right moment, you capture what it is that is there. You don't even need words. So for me, pictures is everything.
My inspiration comes from basic day-to-day activities, life experiences, memories, people's personal experiences. So sometimes I find myself painting people's experiences, not necessarily mine. My message will be peace, peace to the families, that these people may be disappearing to, it just happens, but you must have some peace in your heart, even in yourself, to move on with life.
I produce art in a variety of techniques. I started with copying in nature, that I used to work producing realistic works, and I went to the extent of producing portraits in sculpture. The inspiration for my art is the compelling desire to communicate the emotions that I learn from the public. Then I prepare them in topical themes, so that when I create a work, it actually expresses a particular theme in a series of stories. So right now I'm just intending to create one piece that will highlight on extrajudicial killings, so that the people can understand about this negativity in society, as well as sensitize the public and the people in authority that this fight is actually happening, so that they can find a way to end it.
The art is a message. The art is a message, whereby the more questions you have for the artwork, the more inquisitive you get. And now when you approach myself as an artist or people with like minds, to get certain information, to get your questions answered, because it's not exactly per se a message, but rather a drive for you to start asking questions. My inspiration comes from Africa itself. So the tool that I'm using with animation, at least an animation shows movement, and with animation we'll have sound, and using that as a tool to really portray that emotion, because with art you're not really exposing no particular person, but really creating that environment so that people can begin talking about it.
Art has always been the driving force to change, and through this project, or through this art piece, or the art pieces that are going to be created for this project, I think in a way it will be able to positively affect people, because see, it's visual first of all, and it will be able to affect people in a way that they will be able to look at it in a different light, and hopefully make a stand on these extrajudicial killings.
Professionally nafanya kazi na oil paints, and mostly my style is semi-abstract. Semi-abstract inamaanisha ni half unaweza elewa na half huwezi elewa, so ndio maana inaitwa semi-abstract. Pia na abstract, ambayo abstract ni kitu unaangalia but kuelewa huwezi elewa sahihi hiyo. Kulingana na art yenye naweza deliver through visual art na painting, I think ni vizuri niitoe in a positive way, so that inaweza communicate the message and at the same time educate.
So my inspiration is from life, from people that I observe, people that I care about, everyone that I meet. I find something, there's always something in everyone that inspires, that gives me some form of inspiration. So if one goes through all the artworks I've done, you'll see it's more of the progress of people I've met in my life, the impact they've brought onto me. And most of the time, because I've been doing portraiture for a while, it's mostly the people that are engaged in art. So most of the time, they're my inspiration, the community, the friends, family, and school. I see the eyes as a window in which you can see one's anguish, what someone really goes through, what's happening to them. So, and in that, I'm doing a piece where it's a longitudinal piece of where it's more of a panorama. It's showing two eyes, and the eyeballs will be, the center part, the black parts will be from an image of one of the Mwingi situations where someone was shot several times, didn't die, then later on followed again and shot till he came to his inevitable death that was going to happen one way or the other. So now, in that video of the Mwingi episode, the landlady is seen burning the property that the deceased had. So in that, like from here, the image that I have, it's a blurred image of the property being burnt, and then you have flames there, and then on the background, the far background, you see the landlady walking away. So this will form the part of the eyeball, where you will see the image of this, the fire, and the lady walking away. So this will be now the piece, and it will help me in portraying what I want to do to show the effects of enforced disappearance.
I am inspired by culture, by nature, literary and also philosophical probing into issues. And so that kind of get surreal expressions of maybe your feelings or moods. I'm using the family pretty much for my composition to express the concept. So this will be cut out, and the shadow of the character is a bloody shadow, while the other character. And also, I'm also using color, the symbolism that we have in color, from moving from a blight past to a uncertain future, which also represents maybe the emotional problem that people face when they are no longer going to be with someone they've been with. So, for example, I'm trying to have this very dull background, which is also towards the direction that the family seems to be moving in. That's moving into a future that is quite uncertain without and also coming from a bright future, which is also marred with the past, coming from a bright past that is also marred with a bit of the happenings, which is the death. I think maybe light itself can symbolize that also, like dripping blood. So I'll call the piece semi-abstract.
I am this kind of artist who's tired of doing beautiful things, because I believe beautiful things have already been achieved. People have already achieved beautiful things in life. We have beautiful cars, we have beautiful women, we have beautiful flowers, beautiful trees, beautiful houses. So people have painted many years ago beautiful paintings. So I don't need to do that. All I need to do is to come up with something that will make you believe that what I'm doing is actually what it is. So that is what deceiving is about. If you look at the face or the emotions that these people are going through, that should be enough to tell you what these people are going through in life. You can see a lot of loss here, and to me it's a mother's grief.
For me, it's not just about disappearing of single people, but I think I'm looking at it from a very global perspective to represent humanity, and particularly in Kenya, what we've had to go through. So for me, the immediate environment is very inspiring, but mostly I look at current issues, emerging issues, and any issue that is around me, amongst people. I like working with people. I like human face. The human being intrigues me a lot. So I'm just creating the different tessaries, but each one of them represents a face. And each face has all the colors that I want, from the blues to the greens and, beige. And the gold is representing that aspect of the person, probably is in a spirit form. And then there's the reds and all that. So it's multicolored because I believe the African face is full of color. And that's why I want to use various colors.
My painting is mainly based on Impressionism and abstract styles. As you can see, this is one of my pieces that I started working on, and it's a reflection of what I think about people not being respected for who they are. So you can see they're almost ghostly, and all of them are connected. As you can see, the yellow lines are mainly sketches, but this person is connected to this other person, and this person is connected to this one. As you can see, there's always a connection. This one is connected to this, which just means that if one person dies from this trinity or from this stream, there's a breach. Yeah. Personally, I felt as if that's an atrocity whereby people are just being killed. People can be killed like animals. No one knows where they're going. No one knows what's going to happen to them. And this is at the hands of the policemen. These are people who are supposed to keep us safe. I decided to use red as my background color, just to bring out the other colors better. And if I leave out some areas with this color, it just signifies death and danger. Everybody is important in the society, no matter what, where they come from. It's not even a matter of hierarchy. It's not a matter of wealth or all that. As long as you are born and you are living, you have the right to live and to continue living without anybody threatening your life for no reason.
You know, art is a feeling, and what maybe I feel right now may not prevent another killing, but it will communicate that there are killings going on, because you'd be surprised at how many people who don't know because they're not directly affected by such things.
Anytime the police are killing people, that is not the law they're upholding. They're taking advantages of the ignorance of the community. After watching the extrajudicial killings, which were very painful and is tragic to a nation, I realized I have to draw something which is thought-provoking. And basically the colors I came up with are red, white, and black. And that is what I want to do today. I know I'm doing the right thing for my community. We've lost so many youth in Kibera because of extrajudicial killing. Some people think it's justifiable that they are killed, and some think like it's not fair. So it has been a divisive issue in the slums, and I hope this will be a statement to the Kibera residents so that they know what is right and what is not right. My community usually keeps quiet because of ignorance, because they don't know where to go. And they don't know that it's not right, like, to be illegally made to disappear. So it's my wish that through this art, my community will be inspired to know, like, nobody should be exterminated the way they do. We got law, let's follow the law. Nobody should miss his or her aspirations because of how or where they live. We believe art can transform the community. And we believe art can transform the whole wide world.
I saw the video and I was confused, shocked and all that. So what you'll be seeing in the artwork is exactly that. Shock, disbelief, sadness, anger that you cannot express because you feel you can't do anything about it. I'm doing two pieces. One piece is about two women, and the two women piece is called Beyond Words, because there's nothing these people can say anymore. They have seen it happen right before them. They have lost. They don't know whether to trust, who to go to, and they are desolate. That's what I can use. And that, I believe, should be able to be seen through their eyes or through their faces. And the other woman, of course, she is at a loss. And I want to use her emotions to deeply show the people how how she feels. I'm hoping it's actually going to be a strong tool to communicate to the relevant persons to be able to understand that lives really matter.
In every community, everyone is responsible for each other's welfare. And in that case, everyone is connected to one another in some way. So as you can see, there are many bodies over here. There are about 4 bodies. There's a child there, a female, male bodies, and they're all connected somehow in the colors and all that. That's the color scheming, in terms of the color scheming and the shaping of the forms. The arms are connected somehow, and so all of them, at the end of the day, end up being one piece. This is just to show the community and how the community works in the society, whereby the failure of one person is the failure of everybody. Success of one person is the success of everybody, which means absence of one person means that there's absence of everybody. I realized it's not even about hope, it's more about awareness, and it's more about feeling and emotion. So I did as much as I could to express that. I mean, it took a lot of time. This is probably the piece that has taken the most time in my life.
Kenye nimejaribu kuexplain ni kuwa venye huyu anajaribu kuomba usaidizi kwa authority. At the same time anaumizwa, na at the same time anashika hiyo usaidizi venye ameshika hapo mkono. Na background hizo ni instruments za justice zenye zinakuanga but hazitumiki. Hapa chini hiyo inaonyesha venye hiyo faith na hiyo mambo ya authority inaenda ikifade. So hakuna trust. Na ile side nyingine huyo ndio anachukua orders kutoka kwa authority. Na venye unaona kichwa yake imepresentiwa in a form of gold. That mixture ya colors of which inaonyesha ni akili yake tu inafikiria juu ya wealth, pesa. Kwa society art ndio maisha. Kenye unapitia, kenye unaona, kenye kila kitu, hiyo ndio art.
The video is about these 2 characters, mainly who are having this conversation with a friend. And the next day, they were found to have been killed by the police. And so now, with that interest and with that perspective of that story, we decided to use these 2 characters. So the type of style we're using is basically animation with a bit of abstract to it. So we have in the background, if you look, we have sort of like teardrops, and sort of like watery movement, which we wanted to represent the sorrow of the families and the deceased, and also represent how they felt about such situations in general, which is not good. The video and our animation gets the message across clear, and that people will learn and take action when they watch this film.
My creative process started with the initial viewing of the videos, and then I think for me I would say that's the source of my inspiration. I narrowed down to the father figure who seems to be the one disappearing a lot in most of the videos. The men are the most affected from. But then the family has not really come to terms with his disappearance. So that's for that reason that I took the idea of a transparent kind of a figure. So it's like the figure is still with the family because they have not come to terms with his disappearance, and yet he is not there because of I've used perspex, which is a material which is transparent. So the figure is there, is not it's a spirit form, it's like a spirit form. So if you look at the piece, you'll notice the colors. Also, they're coming from warm colors to very dull colors. So the future is very uncertain. So it's almost going into a black and white kind of a future, which is not clear. Until I saw the stories, perhaps we think those are things that happen elsewhere. They are not very close to us. But I think by someone viewing this, the whole story of disappearance will be closer to them, and perhaps also art has a way of communicating to people. So this will possibly sensitize people who would basically maybe not give a second thought to maybe stories they hear on radio or newspaper.
I decided to do my sculpture very visual rather than doing it in an abstract form, so that it can enable everybody to understand the message in a simple manner. The carvings you have seen is just merely on the sketch level, so a lot of details have not been done yet. So from here, from this level, I'm going to study putting the detailing to bring out every image in a proper way, and there is something we call character representation within the artwork. It hasn't come out yet properly because the realistic images have not yet been given all the details that they deserve. My art is likely to make the people who never saw these situations happening anywhere to feel to it that they have really seen the situation, so that they can be able to react about the situation.
So here in this piece, we have a lady. She's crying, one tear is shedding. She's shedding a tear on the left eye, as well on the right. You can see this up. And then, so from the lady, that was the main subject. And then I went ahead from one of the videos that we were given that we saw was of a Mwingi victim. So the victim, in the end of the footage, we see the landlady of the victim who was came to a sudden death. His items were being burnt as a custom of the community. So I depicted the landlady who was burning her stuff, and then we have some bit of flame and fire and smoke, so representing. So my theme was just to show the victim had passed away, and I thought it was not so right for the landlady just take items and just burn them. The same thing as for the victim. If he was guilty, I'm sure there are proper ways of jurisdiction to follow on the crime or whatever he was being accused of. I'd wanted to reach out to many people to understand that the issue of enforced disappearance is not just a light matter that just happens and goes. It's a matter that is there, probably it's ongoing, and all we need is to have people, the right kind of people, to get to know that people are suffering and we need to end enforced disappearance.
I'm sure that these people had values before they disappeared, and among the values I've done in my paintings is a value on, there's this one which is about persistence. So persistence for justice, persistence for peace. And then the one behind me, the first one, it's a value that's wittiness. I'm sure these people, they aren't, there's one or two who are witty, who had humor in them. So that's one thing that their families remember them for. So that's wittiness. And the last one is patience. So despite them not knowing where they are, they should still be patient and don't give up, to look for answers within yourself, within the government, within whatever means, but don't give up and be patient. I'm an emotional person in life. So I think when I looked at the videos, I related to my own people. If that was my brother, my uncle, how would it affect me? So I had to get into that mode to be able to paint.
The mother's love is unconditional. And that is the love the government should be having for us. And if they had that love, we wouldn't be having the extrajudicial killings. So I wanted to put it in a mama's sense. This is a mother who's crying, and behind her is the city. That is the story I wanted to tell the community. The mama is crying because the city is in darkness, and there's a lake, the Huru Garden Lake there. So the lake is flooded with blood, the tears of this mama who is crying blood because of losing her children. It's so painful to lose a child, and it's very painful to lose someone you love. So to me, I wanted to do a thought-provoking art showing like the pains of a mother. But this one was like, it has to be thought-provoking. It has to be something which is You can't call it abstract, you can't call it contemporary, but it has to disturb the thoughts and ask you, what is this painting? So to me, it was the most challenging artwork I've ever done. And I'm so proud, honored, and humbled to have been given this opportunity to do this job.
So my project starts, it's a mass grave. It's called The Land of the Forgotten, because the victims who died have not, justice was not done unto them. So and we don't even know where they were buried. So in my head, I came up with that concept of there's a mass burying somewhere. And because justice was not done unto them, I decided to corrupt my Lady Justice. So in my pictorial concept, she is bloodied, meaning the hands of the victim are on her. And she is very carefree. She doesn't care about them because they're already dead and justice wasn't brought unto them. And then also on the concept, you'll see black figures are standing over the graves. They represent the family members of the victims. I could hear the lamentations or maybe the desperation from the victims' families because they don't know where they are. There's this one lady who said even if it's just a finger of her son, she saw that she could bury it. And so I thought about the anguish that it would appear on their face when, standing in front of their graves, or at least they should be given that respect of burying their loved ones. This one was really, it carried a lot of heaviness for me. I actually felt something for the victims and for their families as well.
There are many faces based on different backgrounds, and my plan is to actually eventually title it Find Your Face, so that whoever is going to look at it, the viewer can interact with the artwork directly. It's all representation of the kind of society we live in. That's why I've used the Asian cloth, which I'm calling the fabric of the society. And this fabric of the society is not solid. It's something that has gaps and holes in it that when people disappear, they simply just disappear. We seem not to know exactly where they go. That's why I've used the Asian clothes to show that it's porous. Therefore, anything can happen. And the society we live in is where we are born from. That's why I've used this rope over here to show where we come from. Everything other than the fabrics and the Asian cloth and the canvas is handmade, including the ropes that I've used here. And what I'm trying to show is that we are born into a society. We start right from the beginning as children, and we climb the ladder of growth, either economically or even as human beings, we grow into the society. So this fabric is not just about the local community, it's a global community. Then the other thing you notice is that there are certain dates that are put within the canvas. This is because there is one particular incident that happened that affected me personally, and that was the university students that were killed in Garissa University. So for me, that date remains very significant in terms of enforced disappearance. I want the viewer to identify with the problem and not to assume it's someone else's problem. And as much as our minds open to that, then we'll probably raise more questions. And we hope that will give us better hope.
When the sun goes down and the moon goes up, there's a revolution. I say there's a revolution. Mama cries, Papa cries, the whole world cries, we all cry. Where's my son? Where's my daughter? Now where's my baby? Where's my child? We're talking about the revolution. We're talking about the revolution. Talking about the revolution, yeah. Where's my baby? Where's my child? Where's my daughter? Where's my child?